It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limo or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you. Because that's New Orleans, and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians and we're in a bar. At this juncture, we're at Wayfare on Ferret Street, which is uptown. Everyone's looking extremely blurry-eyed around the table here. It's the Thursday after Mardi Gras we're recording this. We've had one day to recover, which is basically Mardi Gras extension. So we'll see if we can pick it up for 60 minutes, okay, everybody?
Okay.
Let me just tell you, okay, I'll tell you who's here. Natalie Pompilio is here. Hey, Natalie, look at me, I'm over here. Thank you very much.
Sorry about that.
Eric Bernstein is here.
What up?
Thank you. And Jermaine Quiz is here.
Hello, TV Land.
Very nice. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about each of these people in a minute. But first of all, I'm going to tell you about Wayfare, which is a restaurant and a bar that serves handcrafted food and spirits, where Chef Kevin White puts fine dining into a sandwich and bartenders put fine booze into a glass. Do they not, gentlemen and ladies?
Delicious.
Yes, they do.
It is. What are you drinking? Are you drinking... Natalie, you're drinking a Diet Coke for
No, it
Christ's
just
sakes.
looks like Diet Coke.
Oh, it's not.
It's wine in a
It's
can.
wine in a can.
Ah, nice. Are you guys used to drinking wine in a can?
It just really helps you talk with your hands, gesture.
Yeah.
It's not
I'm
spilled.
half Italian, so you need to.
Which half is Italian?
Top half.
I don't know. Top half.
Hey, here's Graham DePonte, our fabulous producer. Look, which is
Hey.
looking good. So, which half is Italian, your mom or your dad? Come on.
My dad is Chilean and my mom's a Sicilian American.
That's a good mix.
Wow. Chilean, from real Chile.
From
right?
yes, very recently in the 80s.
It does
Really?
sound like a delicious
Yep.
dish.
That does, like
Right?
Chilean bass.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Is there anything else from Chile that, well, is...
Oh, no, but the Chilean-
Empanadas, all types of good
and the
stuff.
Italian, though.
Yeah.
It's a good combo.
Yeah, it's a good fusion restaurant.
it's like cilantro and basil at once.
So, which one
I
is...
just came from eating Vietnamese, so it's on my head.
Did you?
Both of them.
Which one is Chilean? Your dad, did you say?
My dad's Chilean.
How did he
yes.
get over here? I was going to
He came over out of political reasons.
Really? What are the politics in Chile?
Well, you ever hear
Well, there was a-
Augusto Pinochet?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was a socialist. He was a professional soccer player and sought
Your dad was a
refuge.
professional soccer player, and you have to, as a soccer player, you had to choose between being a socialist and being a...
Well, he grew up very poor, and he got a significant amount of money and wanted to contribute it back to the community because he loves Chile, and they weren't really happy about that.
But everybody, in our country here in the United States at least, the way out of politics is to be in sports or entertainment. So you don't, I mean, but it's not the same there, obviously.
No, people, especially in the 70s and the 80s,
Right.
everyone I feel around the world was just more proactive. It wasn't just people who had stature and reach would use it for a certain cause, that they believed in, which is not so much today.
Well, the CIA went into Chile, right, and killed Salvador Allende. That was the...
Yeah, it was.
Does the United States admit that, or was that just something that everyone believes?
I don't know. I don't know. Like what? I don't
Natalie,
know.
you're a writer, right?
Right.
Don't you know stuff like this?
I do, but I'm not allowed to tell you anymore. So.
Who can tell us? Who can tell us something? Shit, this chair is going to fall to pieces. Well, anyway, Wayfare has got a 3-hour happy hour here every day from 4 to 7. You can get cheapo drinks and awesome sandwiches. Have you guys tried a sandwich here yet?
Yes, I have.
What do you think?
Delicious.
Isn't it amazing?
It's good.
The guy who's a chef here, Kevin White, was a chef in New York with Mario Batali.
Oh,
Of all people. Yeah, the real deal. And he came down here and opened this restaurant and decided he was going to make sandwiches for some obscure reason. And so he puts all this fine dining experience into making sandwiches, which you'd think would be like a waste of time. But
Simple.
they're awesome.
Simple is hard.
Yeah. Simple
to make
is hard.
something
Well
good
put.
as simple as hard.
Yeah,
Music,
that's
anything.
true.
Does he dress like Mario Batali with the Crocs and the
Yeah, and the
enormous leg?
little scooter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he does. He doesn't look much like him. He's wandering around here usually. You can see him. He comes on the show once in a while and brings us over some food. So
He's quite a nice
hopefully-
guy, though, Mario Batali. I've worked with
You
him.
know him?
For years. I do all the events for Food Bank in New York. I did for like 6 years.
What is Food Bank?
Food Bank is probably like the largest nonprofit that feeds people. They feed 385,000 people every day
Wow.
in New York.
385,000 people a day.
A day.
Where does all that come from, all that food?
They raise hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It's just like enormous food service. I mean, they have like the sort of supermarkets where you can go in and get, like literally go grocery shopping for free.
For free?
Yeah. And
How
as
do
well
we
as,
get
like,
in on that?
It's all New York stuff.
There's 385,000 people in New York who are being fed a day.
Being fed
not around the world.
No, just in New York. 385,000 people in
That's
New
like
York.
feeding New Orleans every day.
Yeah, really.
Isn't it?
I mean, how many people live in New York? 15 million or something like
Yeah.
that?
13 million.
So what
or
percentage would that be of the city is getting free food?
Where's
Like-
the mathematician?
Someone who can figure that out. Natalie,
0.5.
you-
There's like nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But journalists don't do math. Don't you know that?
You're
by
not very
now?
good at math?
No, of course
I mean,
not.
there's probably still
No.
tons more people starving, unfortunately.
385,000 people a day. So does it donated? I mean, that's a huge operation.
So, I mean, like, the chairman of Food Bank is like Jon Stewart, Mario Batali. It was Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. I mean, it's like a really good
it's
Michael
a-
Stipe. There's some big heavy hitters.
So that's the board of directors. They're not actually making sandwiches.
No, but they're
Stocking
donating
something.
millions of dollars and getting all their friends to donate tons of money also. And the galas are really fun. Like Sarah McLachlan
So what did you?
performing.
What did you do exactly?
That sounds like great.
She was good. And the
What-
Jayhawks played, I think, one year. That was kind of awesome.
What did you do? Was that your job every day?
Yeah, I'm a technical director. So what I did for 10 years in New York is produce like high-end runway shows for all sorts of different fashion designers, and I still produce private concerts and galas and sort of enormous events. It's a fun job. That's where Werkly came out of, is this
That
idea.
does sound okay. I'm going to read the bio they gave me to read about you.
I have a bio.
It says here Eric Bernstein, who we just heard from, lives between New Orleans and Detroit, and came to this commute by way of Austin and Brooklyn.
True.
All the hipster
Yeah.
cities checked off on it.
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
like
road.
a
What's
master-
next?
I'm getting my master's degree in gentrification.
What city are you moving to next? We need to watch you. If you've been to Brooklyn, Detroit,
Yeah, I
New
don't
and
Mexico.
Austin.
St. Louis.
Somewhere in New Mexico.
Not St. Louis, but
Somewhere in New Mexico, Jermaine, you think?
I mean, Tulsa. I get some tips about Tulsa.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Well, that sounds unlikely, but then they all did, I suppose.
exactly.
Well, New Orleans doesn't sound unlikely. And Detroit was an amazing city before it just went broke. That's all that happened to
Yeah,
it.
I mean, Detroit was the crown jewel of the U.S. for a long time.
Yeah.
It is still the most beautiful. It's like on par with New Orleans for one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like you could be driving through the middle of nowhere and come across like a ziggurat Art Deco white tile pharmacy.
Yeah.
And it's
Have you guys been there? Natalie, have you
And
been
I've
to-
never
I
been there.
haven't
It's too cold.
Jermaine, you've never been there on all your world travels?
No, I haven't.
summers are amazing. Summers are good.
Yeah.
Winters, I'm here. So.
Okay, good point.
Yeah.
You moved to New Orleans you go back there for the summer to Detroit.
Yeah, May to October is so May and October I switch.
What do you do in Detroit there? I mean, you're not doing the food bank.
I bought a very large apartment in Detroit. So I
Even
went,
if you bought a whole city block, what are you actually doing?
so I went up there to do a project which was called Light Up Livernois, and basically they're
Light up what?
Light Up Livernois Avenue. So
Livernois.
Yeah, it's
Oh, it has the word liver in it. I was
7 Mile
I guess
Livernois
I've got that on the brain.
used to
from
be the
Mardi Gras.
fashion district of Detroit, and it was where the predominantly African American community went to go get church clothes and their fancy wedding clothes and all this stuff. And for years, if you talk to anybody who grew up like in our parents' generation, that was Madison Avenue for them. They would go down there and go hat shopping with their grandmothers and see everything and look at all the clothes, and then it just went away.
Right.
You know. And so one of the economic development committees created a project to get a bunch of artists and get a bunch of businesses and do a competition and inhabit 8 of those stores. We opened 8 retail stores in 2 months. And so I went up there and found a ragtag crew and basically built 8 retail stores in 2 months.
And what are they selling?
One is like a fabric studio kind of, and they make like sort of vintagey clothes. Another one was a vintage shop, an ice cream shop, a coffee shop, a ceramic studio, an import retail facility, like some cool little businesses. And so I went
cool.
up there for a couple months to do this project and completely fell in love with it. It reminded me of growing up in Brooklyn. What's funny is like over the year of staying there, I realized what it is that I like, and it's a city full of haters.
Okay.
A city full of haters.
Well, you should come back to Philly.
Yeah, come back to Philly. I lived in Philly for a long time also.
Yeah, that's where you're from, Natalie?
I live in Philly half the time, too.
You do?
Yeah.
So you live half the time in Philadelphia and half the time here.
Right.
Eric, you live half the time in Detroit and half the time here. Jermaine, tell me you live here the whole year
I
round.
live here the whole
Good
year
man,
round.
thank God. Okay. So, hang on a second. What do you mean by a city full of haters, both of you? Is that like it's a good thing?
Okay.
Philadelphia has an attitude, a defeatist attitude. We're not New York, we're not D.C., but the city's actually really cool, but everyone's really negative.
Okay.
I might get kicked out right now.
And okay, what's Detroit like?
Well, see, that's not what I
Same
mean
thing.
exactly. It's more, so growing up in New York, I really grew up in the era of New York where, like, if you were actually good at something, you won.
Okay.
Everybody was out there, and you could not just pay your way. You couldn't buy something. You couldn't talk bullshit. you had to be real. You had to do it. And it was a city full of haters, and everybody would knock you down if you couldn't do it. So you talk the talk, and then you had to do it. But the best part was, if you were some talented Dominican kid, you could own a hotel in 10 years. Now it's just pay to play.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no realness to it. And in Detroit, you have to go there and you have to earn it. You have to be there. You got to accomplish things, and no one's going to help you do it.
But isn't that just used to be called good old-fashioned competition?
Yeah, but
Hard work.
Hard work, exactly. It's not hate.
But I'm just saying, it's like
It's negativity. It's like you
not-
got to prove yourself.
To me, it's not a negative thing. Hating is just, it's pacing. It's a competition, is what you're saying. But
Right.
But it's real. It's not just like, oh, I can buy this. You know,
And that's what it's like
it's
today.
direct competition, you know. It's like hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Like hip hop grew so fast because they were adamant about saying, "Oh, we're better than you here," so that it brings a whole level of competition up when, you know, people compete openly.
But then, and let's bring it to this conversation of like, but the people who are making money in hip hop are the ones who can pour the most money into it. You know, not necessarily. It's not necessarily the best rappers, the people who with the best beats. I mean,
Well, I'm talking about the time when you were talking about New York.
exactly
too.
though. Yeah,
It was in that time frame, like in the 90s and
De La era.
yes.
like- yeah, and that's. I mean, to me, that's the way the world needs to work. Is like on accreditation. You know, if you're good at something, you should be able to succeed. And I mean, put that around the entire world. It's just like,
But that day seems to have slipped away on us in every kind of pursuit, doesn't it? In music, you think it was be more democratized in music because now there's no record companies left and you could just have equal access to everybody. But actually, it seems to be more dependent on
Well, it
who you
depend-
know, on money, or getting out there, because there's even fewer. I mean, there's no record business left. We've been through all this before, of course, on the show.
Yeah.
There's no way to make any money except go out and play, and you can only fit so many people into a room at the same time. So it's pretty hard to make a living in the music business. In that sense, you know, to be super wealthy, there's no more Michael Jacksons left or Bonos.
But there's not going to be any more of those superstars, you know, because now everyone can actually find what they like. They don't have to get force-fed what, you know, even though a lot of the mainstream culture is getting force-fed all the stuff that's clear channel, but, you know, you can find your niches of stuff that you like more easily, and you can, as an artist, you know, find your audience. If you play bluegrass music from Appalachia, you know, you weren't going to be a pop star anyway, were you? No,
Yeah.
but now you can, you know, go out, find your audience, and you know,
so you're
tour
saying,
and
so you're
play
saying
your
it's,
music.
it's better now than it's ever been.
well, I'm saying also maybe it's better that there's not 15 billionaires, but there's 1,015,000 heirs. You know what I mean? Like the fact that there's 100,000 bands that can
but there's
that
actually-
can actually pay their bills.
But overall, though, of course, the rich and poor are getting further and further apart in this country.
Yep.
And everywhere. I mean, not this country.
Yeah, but we're supposed to have a giant middle class with only a very few poor people who fall through the net and the very few wealthy people who somehow manage to make a whole
Well,
lot of money.
Meteor is just going to
But
come and wipe us out anyway.
is it
right?
really going to happen?
Probably going to be fine.
You think?
Yeah.
Shall I just keep reading this and see what it says?
Oh. What
It
else?
says you've spent time in every other city in America too, Eric, on the road with musicians Phil Lesh, Greg Orman, Les Claypool, and many others.
I was really young, man.
What were you doing with them? Production?
So I dropped out of college at 19 from University of Michigan. Just didn't like it. I mean, I actually was on a full scholarship there for electrical engineering, and it was funny. This was 1997, and I submitted a paper saying that cell phones and broadband internet was going to be the future, and they said I was wrong. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that I'm right. So I dropped out of the school and hitchhiked around the U.S. for 2 years.
It's funny that you were totally wrong, right? The cell phone never went anywhere.
Yeah, never went anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Broadband.
That'll never catch
cruises
on.
the
No
internet.
way.
And so I met this band called the Disco Biscuits. They were like a bunch of funny guys. Yeah, they're from Philly.
You know them?
Exactly. Yeah, they're
Really?
Philly
Not
guys.
really. I made that up. I have no idea.
They're from Philly.
Are they?
Yeah, they're actually from
They
Philly.
are. Jermaine, you ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Disco Biscuits?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they have like, you know, they play
Who
between
was your
5 and-
favorite biscuit?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you this.
Ringo?
Yeah, Ringo. And so I actually, like, they found me, like, hitchhiking, and I went to a couple of their shows, and I was like, what can I do for you? And they're like, do you want to sell some shit? So I was like, fine. So 3 days later, I come back to them with a wad of money, and I was like, you have any more stuff? And they're like, what did you do with everything? And I was like, I sold it. They're like, you sold everything? And I was like, I sold everything. And so they came and found me in this squat about a month later in West Philly and offered me $100 a week to come on tour with them. And I was like, that sounds
Good
like a
money.
dream. Yeah,
If you're
Yeah.
gonna squat in Philly, you're like
Yeah.
$100 a week.
Are you kidding? This is amazing.
Did they have good drugs as well?
Yeah, very good.
Okay, well,
They're
that's...
called the disco
They are
biscuits,
called
Yeah.
the disco.
which is actually
Quaalude. Yeah.
yeah.
A disco biscuit is another word for a quaalude.
Yeah.
Well, I never knew that.
wow.
Natalie, did you know that one?
No, I just learned something.
That's really interesting. Now, how do
I
you
can
know
see
that?
which is the derelict side of the table. Right
Yeah,
now.
over here, the axis has shifted completely. But now, how do you know about quaaludes? Where do you get them?
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
I got a guy. He's asking where you get them. Are you a cop?
I haven't. Yeah,
That's a setup.
You a cop?
I am a cop.
You
Actually,
have to tell me.
I haven't seen quaaludes. I mean, I haven't seen quaaludes
No, it's hard
since
to find Quaaludes.
19
I've seen them
something.
in the last couple of years, but
Do they still? Are they still around? Seriously?
I think they kind of
I
came
don't know if
in.
I've ever seen one.
Really?
Really?
I feel like I've seen.
Like, what if one walked in right now? You wouldn't recognize them. Probably.
You'd
They
you'd
just kind
enjoy
of look
it.
like sweet tarts.
Yeah.
They're just like a little fucking
They're
pill.
big. They're like but they're
Yeah.
like big and wide. They look like.
But that is
like
like
an antacid.
one of the greatest drugs ever invented of
If
all
you don't
time.
want to, if you don't want to remember having fun, yes.
I remember all of it, most of
Really?
it. Yeah, they used to be pretty plentiful at one point. That is like there's like nothing wrong.
The good old days.
Do you
It's-
remember
oh
when
my
you were
God.
on them? I'm saying.
Yes,
Yeah,
I do. I remember
I don't.
vividly. You don't remember that?
No, I forget every. That's like that's
That was like
half of it.
I don't know why that was ever made illegal. That was like the greatest drug of all time. You could do anything. Well, driving was pretty bad. You couldn't really drive, but everything else was just—it's like ecstasy, the same kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's got that's kind of, all of these like come and go. The quantities and the quality.
But I never knew they were called disco biscuits because I guess it was from the disco era.
Apparently, one of them was called a disco.
Oh, that was like a type of
It was a type of Quaalude,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought there was only one type. Okay.
But yeah, so I started touring with them. I was like 19 years old when they hired me, and by the time I was 23, I finished working with them and was already touring with Les Claypool and Greg Allman as a stage manager and engineer, and it was a fun young 20s.
Wow, that sounds like pretty good. I'm going to come back and talk to you in a minute about Werkly.
Yeah.
But first of all, I want to introduce properly Natalie Pompilio.
Hello.
Which sounds Italian as well.
That is an Italian name.
Okay, we got a very sort of polyglot mixture here.
I'm Moroccan. I got
You're
some
from really
some
Moroccan?
ethnic in there. Yeah.
I thought you might have been related to Leonard Bernstein or something.
No.
Well, Carl Bernstein.
There's probably one.
Or
I can't think of any more.
Bears.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Bernstein.
yeah.
Who?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's
Ah.
Bernstein.
Well, they changed the spelling of their name when they gentrified. The Bears.
They had to.
Yeah, when they came to America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to change it.
It was a
They
different
want
time.
the blend.
The Bears were very persecuted.
Ellis Island.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They changed it to Ellis Island. Pompilio sounds like it was pretty undiluted.
It's pretty undiluted.
And
but
you're a freelance writer originally from New Jersey.
I am, the great state of New Jersey.
But you don't go there at all. Now you live between New Orleans and
I'm still allowed
Philadelphia.
to pass through.
Yeah,
Because,
okay. You're allowed
because
to.
I get to New York and maybe see my father,
Your dad's still in New Jersey?
He is still in New Jersey.
Okay. Where is he? What city?
Now he moved up to the famous Watchung Hills, which everyone's like, what? There's a hill in New Jersey? Exactly.
What's it called? Watchung?
Watchung.
How do you spell that?
Watchung.
Watchung. What a great name. Watchung Hills.
Yeah.
Sounds Indian.
We stole it from
Sounds
somebody.
Native
Yeah.
American.
Yeah, yeah, we stole it.
Sounds like a good
Stole
murder.
it, yeah.
Murder
There's a
comedy.
good mall there.
My dad bought it for like some beads and string, and
Yeah.
we're happy there.
Okay, and he's good there. He likes Watchung Hills.
I guess he does. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't live there for obvious reasons because it's
What
in the
do
middle
you-
of hills.
Well, how do you know? Okay, so I kind of figured out how Eric's doing it, although not really. It still doesn't make total sense to me how you can live in two places. But still, how do you survive in two different places?
Because I can write anywhere.
You're a writer, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where you are.
Well, unless I'm supposed to be covering an event live, so
Right.
I can't like Jason Blair it in. But no, I have to really
You're
be
a
Hunter S.
somewhere.
Thompson it in.
Hunter S. Thompson,
Yes.
sure. Well, that's back to Quaaludes. But you're a journalist, right?
Yes,
And you
Yes.
covered. It says here that you covered the war in Baghdad.
I did. I was
So you're
in
actually
Iraq.
in Baghdad.
I was in Baghdad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's
Tikrit.
crazy.
And what?
Tikrit.
Shit.
Yeah, we went looking for Sadaam Hussein because they thought that was a good idea. The editors at the paper.
They sent you the, like a.
We'll find him first.
Yeah, yeah.
What was it?
Exclusive.
No, fun fact though, the guys I was embedded with, they are the ones who found him. But way
Oh,
after I was
wow.
gone. So I was like, oh great. When
Wasn't
I'm
he
there,
just
no one
working
does
at Dunkin'
anything.
Donuts?
Regret
Was
not
that,
saying.
was that not me? But
Damn
he
you
was the
guys.
one who woke up to make the donuts.
Who? Saddam Hussein?
Yeah, wasn't he the Dunkin' Donuts guy?
Was he?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Time to make the coffee.
Trying to make the donuts. The guy.
That's a
had
guy who looks like that with
the
the
Saddam
what? With,
mustache. Right? I always thought that was Saddam.
I never thought about that.
Well, the mustache is really big. I had a translator there who had a really big mustache, and he said he was in Saddam's army, and the bigger your mustache, the bigger your bonus. And one way of saying that he would take care of you, he'd be like, I have you in my mustache. I was like, ew, I don't really want to be in your mustache, but that's how he expressed that.
Is
we were
that
being
in
taken
In his
care of.
flavor saver.
I've got a pretty good cookie duster over here.
You have
Yeah.
a big mustache.
You
it's
could
not-
save a
Yeah.
whole
You could get
pound.
a lot
That's
of
not
money.
a mustache. That's a full-on beard.
Yeah, that's a real beard.
It's also a mustache, as square as a rectangle.
Okay.
Whoa.
So how much more would you get for if you had, did you know how much they got paid for?
I
mean,
don't
did
know,
he come
I don't
around
know
and
the cash
measure them?
bonus. He probably did, but I don't know what the cash allowance is for mustache size.
So what paper were you working for? The Philadelphia
Enquirer. Yeah.
So someone at the Philadelphia Enquirer says, I'm going to send you off to a war zone and you're going
Right.
to try and find Sadaam Hussein. Who were you with? Just you or?
No, I spent part of my time in Baghdad just reporting solo and part of it being embedded with different military units.
So that means you and a military unit, or
Yeah.
you and a bunch of other journalists in a military unit, or just you?
No, just me and
Just you with a bunch of guys?
Pretty
who are
much, yeah.
Fighting. Okay, what do they do about, like, how do you change your clothes and all that sort of stuff?
this is like when I got back and my one aunt kept going, how did you go to the bathroom? I'm
Well,
like, you
there's a
just go
good
to
one.
the bathroom. It doesn't matter.
Like,
you know?
so were you prepared for all this?
Well, I mean, no one's really prepared for it, but it's really not a big deal.
Well, if you're in
you
the
know?
army, you might be prepared for it because that's kind of what
I
you're
would
trained
hope
to do.
so.
But you're a
True.
journalist one day sitting in an office or in your apartment in Philadelphia, and the next day they're like, okay, here's your ticket. You're going to go on a plane. You're going to be embedded with a military unit.
We
which
did
is-
have something called hostile environment training, which is like a week-long course where they literally
A week?
kidnap you.
Okay, start over. They literally kidnapped you. What happened?
They had these scenarios set up, and we thought we were doing a medical scenario. So we run out towards the people who are lying there. Next thing you knew, they blindfold us and tie our hands and make us walk together. So you're prepared if you are kidnapped, how to react.
Prepared.
Yeah.
And
I like
What were you
I
covering
wanna
right
do this.
before? What was your assignment right before?
Yeah, nothing like that.
The
The
dog show.
Westminster Dog Show. Yeah, that's Philadelphia.
Yeah. Those like Cocker Spaniels are edgy, so I learned a lot.
And you didn't know about getting beheaded then, though? There was no beheading.
No, thank God.
You were
No.
pre-beheading.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure there was some beheading.
Was there?
I mean,
I think that's new. That's kind of a new
they
development.
just didn't have
Really?
they just didn't have iPhones.
They didn't have the
Yeah.
video. That's true. Right. The video changed everything.
Yeah,
That's where you
much
should have
scarier.
written that PhD thesis.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so what you see, you're following these guys around. That well, they're doing something. They're trying to kill people, or they're looking for Sadaam Hussein. What are you doing?
I am interviewing people about how they feel the Americans are in their country. And
Oh, you're
I'm-
interviewing. So that you're
Iraqis, yeah.
So you're wandering around behind these guys somehow.
Sometimes with them, but sometimes behind them. But yes, I did go at a door-to-door search in Baghdad next to a soldier who shook so badly, and they said it was the night I decided not to wear the helmet because I was like, this is so uncomfortable. I'll just take my chances
Take your
with a head
chances.
wound.
Yeah.
And they're like, you stay with the reporter, and he was shaking so badly. I was like, should I take your gun? Because
This is the guy in the American military.
He was terrified. I felt so bad for him. He's like, I didn't come here. I don't want to kill anybody. I don't
and
want
you're
to
the
hurt
one
anybody.
keeping your head? And you're like, give me the gun.
Yeah, soldier, I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Well, what happened to that kid?
I don't know. I mean, I was embedded with them very long, so I hope he's fine. I hope he got home.
And did you have any post-traumatic stress disorder?
No, not from Iraq. I think when I
Did
got
you get
back, I was
shot?
bored. No.
You got bored when you got home.
Yeah.
What do you do after that?
They're
what-
like, oh, go to the Cherry Hill Mall and write about what movies are coming out. I'm like, oh my God, let me kill myself.
How long were you
That
there
mall's
for?
dangerous.
3 months.
3 months.
I mean-
And then you came to New Orleans and covered Hurricane Katrina.
Wait. Hold on.
Wait
Let's go
up.
back a second.
Yes,
though.
Eric, go ahead.
All you had to do is cross the bridge and go to Camden.
Yes, true.
That's pretty bad over there.
Camden is the most violent city in America.
Camden
Is it
can't
really?
win. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty bad, and it's hilarious because it's like you go over this bridge from Philly, and then on one side is this all new condos and stadiums, and on
And
the
an
other side,
aquarium, right?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And the
You've
other
been there
side is
too?
Beirut.
Yeah.
It's crazy over
I've been
there.
around the Northeast.
Yeah,
There's an aquarium there.
yeah, it's a nice one.
Did you go to it, Jermaine?
Yes, I think I did.
How does it compare to our aquarium?
It's bigger.
It's pretty, I thought it was kind of crappy. I went to a wedding there, and
Hey,
they
Wedding at
had
an aquarium.
Great idea.
Penguin wedding.
it wasn't penguin. It was actually humans. But then they served seafood, and I thought that was really rude.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
off. That's off.
Yeah.
that's
That's
not
not
right
right.
at all. Mind you, what should you
At
serve?
least
at
it
the
was
aquarium?
fresh.
Oh,
Anything.
it really.
That is
You
just
picked your own through this
Yeah.
cake.
okay. That is really
Wow.
weird. Who decided to get married in an aquarium? Your friends?
Yeah, friends. That was like their second wedding. They had their first wedding in Scotland, so
Oh, they got
Cash.
married to each other twice, not
Yeah.
to different people twice.
Right, exactly.
What was the first wedding at an abattoir or something, or
Oh, no,
slaughterhouse?
I don't know. I wasn't invited to that one, but they probably ate hot dogs.
Haggis.
Haggis.
Haggis, the haggis wedding.
Well, because we were just talking about this yesterday. So this paleo diet, right? Mm-hmm. And like, you're not supposed to cook meat, but you're also supposed to eat all the organs. And that sounds like, could you imagine eating an uncooked stomach?
That's
Seems
not
like a
true.
lot of work.
I think you got the wrong information there.
I'm usually getting the wrong information.
That's not right, is it?
I don't think so. But why would you want to eat a cooked stomach anyway?
I mean,
like tripe?
Yeah, I mean, either way, but I'm just saying, like, the whole point is, like, this what this person told me is in order to not get sick, you can't just eat raw meat. You have to eat the raw meat and the organ meat, and it's like a balance of all of the...
No,
I think he was messing with you.
Yeah.
Someone's messing with you for sure. The paleo diet is like so super popular. It wouldn't be that popular if it was raw
No.
meat.
Well, that said, the chef is making you a
there's
special
two-
sandwich
no,
right now.
There's like paleo, but then there's like the full-on one, like the one where people like they won't even cook because it's like they didn't even have fire at that point.
But that's okay. There's people who eat raw. There's people who eat, raw diet all the time.
No, but
There's-
that's raw vegetables. This is raw
Right.
everything, and like it's only
yeah,
nuts.
raw
It's
meat. That's
only-
pretty stupid.
That's okay. I mean, whatever.
Well, when cavemen, with I guess with paleo comes from, right?
Yeah.
Paleolithic. When they killed an animal, they just ate it?
I guess so. Yeah,
You can do that.
I'm pretty sure you can do that,
Why are we wasting our time cooking
I'm
it?
sure you.
I don't know. It
I'm
seems
sure
like-
you build an immunity to it.
right? It seems like sushi.
They're not eating chicken, which is the only thing that you can probably eat raw because it'll kill you.
Because of salmonella, or they have
yeah.
other diseases, or what?
Right? I've
Salmonella.
always wanted to open a restaurant called Sam and Ella's.
I'm sure you will.
It'll be
It'll
fantastic.
be awesome.
Yeah.
Our
No
Do that
one
in
can.
Detroit. Yeah.
our doggy bags will be
Yeah.
something else.
So have you started on your paleo diet? This is a post-Mardi
No,
Gras
I
like detox.
I don't even eat at this point. It's just
You just drinking?
it's like Mardi Gras.
Disco
Mardi Gras
biscuits?
diet.
What drugs were you on over Mardi Gras? Anything else besides?
Okay, the list would be shorter to go the other way, but there was,
What
there
went
was
you
very
on?
little food involved. I
Really?
don't like cocaine.
You don't like cocaine? No.
Yeah.
You're speedy enough without that.
Yeah, totally.
So what do you, mushrooms?
Not a lot.
Not a lot of mushrooms. Just some.
Just some
What else were you on?
other things.
Other things.
Yeah, you know what the things are.
I wasn't going to bring it up unless you wanted to mention. But
just
I would have said no comment.
Where
right? the things.
The things,
The Mardi
okay.
Gras things. I think everybody was on them, right?
I like
Well,
how he
that's why
slips
it's
it in.
Mardi
I like
Gras.
how he slips it in. Oh, where can I get that? Oh, so what drugs have you been taking recently? Do you
I
have
mean,
any on
it's
you?
not fair. It is Mardi Gras, okay? I'm a legitimate businessman. But
Well,
Mardi
that's
Gras
okay.
is Mardi Gras.
But it's Mardi Gras.
Well,
It's
that's the whole
Mardi
thing
Gras.
about Mardi Gras. Is you can be a legitimate businessman, and then it doesn't make any difference because it's all over for a day.
It's because like life doesn't. It just stops. What is that?
Oh, that's
Name.
just my phone. Don't worry, but I'm not answering it.
Quiz. Is that you?
No.
Was that yours?
Oh.
I think it's my phone, but I'm not looking at it because in case I need to get it.
Okay, so is Quiz your real name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jermaine Quiz. It's not
Yes.
your real name. It's
It
not.
is.
Is it really?
Come on.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
How do you spell it?
Is it abbreviated from something Chilean?
Yes.
It is.
Ah.
Quizatelli.
Yes.
Quizatelli.
No, it isn't. It really isn't.
I was
Quizno.
like, yeah, that sounds Italian.
He's the heir to the Quizno
There's a
fortune.
lot of Italians in Chile.
Chile? Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of Europeans that came.
Do you come from the Pub Quiz family?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow.
Pop quiz, hotshot.
Okay.
All that.
So it is your real
Okay.
name,
There you go.
Jermaine.
There you
Okay,
go.
so I'll tell you.
Let's leave it at that.
I'll tell you a little bit about
And no
Jermaine.
comment on the drugs. We'll leave it
Okay.
there.
We're not, he doesn't want to tell us what drugs he was on over Mardi Gras, so
It's okay.
it's a personal
That
question.
means he was
so-
on more than me.
No, I didn't do anything. I was very sober the whole time.
What? Well, you didn't even do Mardi Gras. It was too cold
No,
for
I was
you.
too cold. I was freezing. Did you go out on Mardi Gras Day, Jermaine?
Yes, I did.
Did you stick it out for the whole day?
Yeah, we actually went home about 12:30, took a 2-hour nap, and got in a cab from uptown at 4 a.m. and headed down to Frenchman Street. But it was like they cleared the floor for like an hour. We got down to Frenchman Street and there was no one there. It was just us
Weird.
two, and we're like
At 4 a.m. in the morning?
at like
4 a.m.
5:30
on
by
Mardi
the time
Gras
we got
Day.
there. Yeah, there
Okay,
was
so
no one there.
Go back to Mardi Gras. What did you do on Monday night?
Well, we live on the parade route, so we had a party.
Right.
And people always like want to come over. You need a place to pee. You need
Right.
a place to
So you're on the
take
you're on the
shelter for a
uptown.
second.
You're on the uptown parade, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we right here over in St. Charles and 8th.
Okay, that's a good spot. In the
really
Garden
sad.
Yeah,
District.
it's a lot of fun.
I was really sad because of the weather on Monday because my favorite Mardi Gras event is actually a shopping cart demolition derby that we have in the
What?
Bywater, and I missed it. And I
Because
was
of the
pissed.
weather?
Because of the weather, and I didn't know what time. Nobody
The
knew
weather
what
was
time they were
fine on
leaving.
Monday. It was beautiful.
No, it was raining all Monday.
Oh, it rained eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
And then and I ended up going to like Cirque de Gras, which is a cool little circus, burlesque circus in the Bywater too. And I was dressed like a giant monster.
See, this is the great thing about New Orleans. If you listen to the show outside of New Orleans, There's no such thing as Mardi Gras, really. Yeah. There's like 1,000 things you could do
in the U.S.
You can only do
go anywhere.
10 of them or 6 of them or 3 of them over Mardi Gras.
And then you end up doing stuff that just passes you by.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You're like, whoa.
It's the funniest thing when
There's
people
a parade.
send you emails on Mardi Gras, and then the next day they're like, you didn't get back to me, and I was like,
I know.
you know what's
I know.
going on?
People hit me up like, he didn't get back to me. I was like, it's Mardi Gras. You got to give him a couple of days. Yeah. And they're like, what? It's Monday.
Tuesday.
It's Monday, 8 a.m.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you about Jermaine Quiz, which is his real name.
Yes.
I'll tell you what he's not, though. Jermaine Quiz is not a DJ.
No.
I'm not going to go through a whole list of things that you're not as well. But it does say here that you're a funk hip-hop turntablist who is half of a horn and turntable mashup duo called DJ Entourage. How accurate is that so far?
It says Jermaine Quiz Entourage. I hope so.
It says DJ Entourage. No, is it called DJ Jermaine Quiz Entourage?
Yes.
So that's all fucked up already. Okay.
So
I'll start again.
Let's just take DJ
Hi.
out, though, right? It should
What?
just be the Jermaine Quiz Entourage. I don't even think
Oh,
you
okay.
need
So
DJ.
just take out the word DJ and put in Jermaine Quiz Entourage.
Yeah, Jermaine Quiz Entourage.
Okay, let me just write that down.
Because when you just say Jermaine Quiz is not a DJ, and then you call yourself DJ Jermaine Quiz Entourage, I don't like that personally.
Redundant? Confusing?
You think so?
Yeah.
What do you think? As a professional writer, you would take that out?
I'd probably take it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Jermaine
Okay.
Quiz Entourage just sounds pretty good.
Does it?
I would go
I
Jermaine
like
Quiz
that.
I might just go with
Experience.
Jermaine Quiz, yeah.
Experience.
Ooh, the experience.
That's good.
Right?
I think it's
Yum.
a little Quaalude 60s. I don't know if that works for
Like
me.
Jimi Hendrix. It
Jermaine
sounds like you've
Quiz
stolen it off Jimi Hendrix. Shall I start again then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Jermaine Quiz is not a DJ. He's a funk hip-hop turntablist who is half of a horn and turntable mashup duo called the Jermaine Quiz Entourage. And Jermaine is also the leader of a band called Jealous Monk,
Yes.
whose members include guys from Trombone Shorty's band, Walter Wolfman Washington's band, and on occasion Kirk Davis from the Dirty Dozen brass band. In one incarnation or another, Jermaine has been touring the country and the world for the last 10 years. Have you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's been written about by a wide range of hip-hop commentators and even featured on NPR's Morning Edition.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that was interesting. You had
Yeah, it
to
was cool.
interview with like Steve Inskeep or something?
Yeah, yeah. And we, us and the Dirty Dozen, our Rebirth Brass Band, like after the storm, because we've been a band since post Katrina, since 2005, and we were playing at the Maple Leaf with Rebirth Brass Band, and they came in and did a whole little thing, put in because they were, at that time everyone was really trying to help New Orleans, and show them why, because people were saying, oh, why don't they just let it go?
Bulldoze
Why,
it.
Right.
And then the Northeast experienced Sandy this year, and they're like, oh, okay, okay, I understand. Never mind.
I lived in Rockaway, actually. I moved out of my house in Rockaway 4 days before Sandy.
Wow, good timing.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Where did you go?
Really good timing.
Maybe it's not a
Well,
coincidence.
back to my other house.
Yeah.
And look here, it says that Jermaine, that your band was in 2013 was awarded the OffBeat Magazine's Best of the Beat award for best
best
hip hop and
hip-hop
rap act in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And we can hear you all over town. You play all over the town, I see, from
Yeah,
Tipitina's uptown to Blue
everywhere
Nile
up in town.
downtown.
And, I'm a resident with actually a violinist over at the House of Blues in the Foundation Room on Saturday nights.
Oh, cool.
On what night?
On Saturday nights.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
So you got a regular gig over there. That's
Yeah,
pretty
when I'm
cool.
in town, it's good. And I actually headlined at House of Blues for New Year's in the main room, which was awesome, with a huge band. I had 5 pieces accompany me, which is the biggest band that I played with so far.
Right on.
It was great, and a lot of
Cool.
fun.
And if you're looking to hear something of Jermaine's music or Jealous Monk's music, you can steal it or stream it at all the usual
steal it.
places, right? What are the names of the albums?
Our first album is called Sun Up to Moon Down. Our second album is called I Love I Hustle. And the next album that's coming out through BitTorrent is One Hell of a Life.
One Hell of a Life. You're releasing it on BitTorrent.
Yes.
So that's totally asking for it to be stolen.
Yeah,
Without even thinking about it.
We're putting out a whole package with a bunch of, which, not just the music. We have like an Android video game that we put out, which is going to be included, a couple of videos, and then a tour of New Orleans from us.
That sounds really cool. And
Yeah,
when is
it's
that?
great.
Where do we find that if you don't know about BitTorrent? Is there like a
BitTorrent,
jealousmonk.com?
Yeah, jealousmonkmusic.com, jermainequiz.com.
Okay. Hey, let's take a listen to something.
Sure.
What do you got lined up here for us?
We can listen to something cut off the first album called Sun Up to Moon Down, and it's the title cut.
Okay, check it out.
Awesome.
From sun up to moon down, they talk about the new new sound. We threw down through town and now we back around. Jelly smokes in the place we keep it live. You witness to the business of the drugs, we flip the fire from sun up the moon down. They talk about the new sound. We threw down through town and now we back around. Jelly smokes in the place we keep it live. You witness to the business of the drugs, we flip the fire, y'all. Come on. Trees of weed. So breathe, free me from myself. Doesn't
I like that.
That's really cool.
Nice. What do you think, Eric? Seeing you've been in rock and roll for many years.
I don't like funk.
You don't like funk.
He's too hipster to like funk, though.
Is
you know
that
what I'm saying?
really? Is that not a hipster thing?
It's
funk.
not hip. Funk is not hip.
It used to.
Oh,
It
man.
used to be. A thing I
Wow.
liked,
Okay,
but
now
I
we're in a
never-
whole new conversation
You
here.
better watch out. Everyone knows. Good thing this isn't live.
Well, what could happen?
Everyone's gonna be coming here. What, funk ain't hip. What, man? Funk ain't hip.
That's cool. And the funny thing, I mean, I didn't really even like brass bands really before I moved down
Ooh.
here. No, but it was before I moved down here. The truth is, I mean, like I liked acid jazz, and I was like growing up, I was into
Acid
like
jazz.
Chick Corea, and John Lee
Right.
Ponty, and Stanley Clark.
Okay,
So
but that's
good
okay.
stuff.
I like that too.
I like
But
that
I'm just
too.
saying, but it's like it's the antithesis of brass jazz. Do you know what I mean? Of big band jazz.
But how can you listen to that? What do you hear in that music that you don't like? I mean, there's just it's
Too much wah-wah.
Yeah, it's a lot of wah wah. There's a lot of
too much like real like gritty.
no. It's not. There's nothing I don't like. It just doesn't.
You
that I-
understand?
it doesn't like get to me, you
Right.
know, like, and I never did. And the funny thing is, like, and I was a hippie. I was like on
Yeah.
Fish Tour and the Disco Biscuits, but then again, and like I was.
That's not real funk, though.
No, it's not funk. But I'm saying, but I was friends with like Galactic
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like.
yeah.
New Orleans is a funny town to move to if you don't like funk. I mean, not that you have
No, it
to
don't
like,
matter.
not that you have to have your
There's
taste
plenty of
dictated
music,
to.
all
But
types of music.
yeah, I mean, you don't have to have your
But
taste
yeah,
dictated
I
to, but
agree.
it's kind of in the.
But okay, but these when I was
Atmosphere.
getting to the brass band stuff, at least for the brass band, like after I started parading and going out and like second lining and all this stuff, now I love brass music. But but because there's this emotional connection to it. So now when I hear like
Because it's like funeral music.
no, when I hear brass bands, I like think about all the fun times that I've had listening to those brass bands and all the fun faces around me and all this stuff. And so now there's like this love of brass bands.
Yeah.
Funk,
But that's an association. That's not music.
funk for me is this. It's
That's
a,
like people who
it's
go
a-
to a restaurant because the vibe is good, the
It's the
food's
same
shit, and you know,
Yeah,
it's
but
kind
like,
of crazy.
maybe it's crazy, but the same thing for funk for me. The thing that I don't like is the repetition. Like I don't like pop music either for that very reason. Like I don't like verse chorus. I don't like.
Okay.
That's not my vibe. It's not that it's. I mean, it's fun to like. I'll still get down to it.
Do you? Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you like happy music, or do you like music to slit your wrists by type stuff, or more intellectual
I
stuff?
probably like if I were to listen to music not at a party, it would be intellectual slit your wrist music.
Right.
Like
Okay.
what? Like who would you listen to?
Like in
The
that
Smiths.
realm.
That's the only thing. That's why I went to the Smiths.
No, but
The
like
Cure.
or like Elliott Smith though.
Yeah, Elliott
You know, like or like Sigur Rós.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Okay.
but I love like like Mogwai. If you have ever heard of them, or like Godspeed, like this like very climactic. It takes you from one place to the other. I mean, like on the show the other day, like I told you, like Led Zeppelin was my favorite band. Like Led Zeppelin and the Who, like they're rock bands, but they're bands that wrote like full compositions. Every song was like robust. You know,
It was a different time in music.
it was.
I think. Well, I don't know. I think
And
there's.
again, I would never like. I don't hate on funk music, and if I'm out, it's music that I would party to, but I wouldn't put on headphones
Yeah.
and listen to.
Well, you mean like this?
You just made me.
But
I almost got up and got a drink. No,
Most
I'm just
people, most people, I mean, listen to music as a communal experience. Although
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
more than ever, I suppose people have got headphones on and they're
Yeah.
walking around the
Right.
park, or they're biking, or they're on the subway, or whatever. But there is that music is meant to. I mean, you're making music for people to enjoy themselves too. I assume.
Yeah.
And I think
It's New Orleans. You got to party.
I think that even in that music, it's like
Yeah.
you guys make albums.
It's a live
but
music.
the experience is
Yeah.
live, though, isn't
It's
it?
li- yeah,
it's all
it's
about
live.
it. And like, there's no doubt that if I saw Jermaine live, like I would have a great time. Like that was fun music, but it's
Right.
like, it wouldn't get me like working. Like, and a lot of the time, like I want music that's gonna like give.
Let's
like,
talk about work in just a minute. But first of all, I have to tell you who's responsible for us being here. So give me, like 1 minute. I'll be right back. Okay? Or you can join in if these any of you like. Now, our show today is brought to us by Petite Pet Care. If you're going out of town or have a crazy schedule, the folks at Petite Pet Care will take care of your pet in his or her own home. Anybody got a pet?
only small bets. They only do small bets.
I don't know. Do you have a cow or something?
I don't know. Like they only do like gerbils because they're just.
Oh, it's Petite Pet Care. Now, the name of the... Yes, what's up? You
I'm
want
about
to
to
get
get
a
a
drink?
drink. Yeah.
Okay.
Drink run.
What are you guys getting? Graham will hook you up. Yeah, Graham will take our drink orders.
Buddy.
Another Bloody Mary. What are you drinking? What
What are
was
you
that?
drinking, man? What are you
I'm just
drinking?
drinking water with an orange slice in it.
Trying to get us drunk.
I
While
know.
you stay sober.
That's how I do it. I'm like a drug dealer.
Silence at the table.
Oh no, I was just looking.
No, everyone's
Y'all-
expecting-
y'all anybody want to go to drag bingo tonight?
What did I
Drag
get, Bob?
bingo. That sounds good.
Oh, we did that in Philly too.
Yeah, it's at the Always Lounge. My friend was just like, come to drag bingo.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, listen, let me read these while you guys take your drink orders. So Petite Pet Care will take care of your pet in his or her own home while you're not there. For loving care when you're not there, you can go to petitepetcare.com and check them out. Also brought to us today by Basics Swim and Gym of Fort Well. Can you smell that?
No, I just heard the ocean though.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I could just smell weed or something. Is it just my imagination?
I think it's
That's
it's all in your head.
It's
all
all
in
my,
your
on your
head.
mind
oh my
right now,
God.
Grant? What's on your mind right now,
I don't
Grant?
know what's got
Probably
in
my
PJs.
What are you doing?
jacket, actually.
Basic Swim and Gym have a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout and yoga clothes with style. The all-new Basic Swim and Gym is on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. That's right near where you live, so you can go in there and get your yoga workout
I
clothes.
can.
Do you do yoga?
No.
Well, then you could start. You could go get
Yeah,
a
I
nice
could.
one.
I
Also,
guess-
this is more for all of us. Okay, pay attention. Our show today is also brought to us by Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. Go to the Hangover Destroyer website. It's hdestroyer.com. Write happy hour in the coupon code and get 30% off Hangover Destroyer.
It's 90
Now you
proof.
tell me.
And seize the dawn. It's
I go
not
through,
too late.
I go through all Mardi Gras. Now you tell me.
Yeah, well, you need to listen to the show because they've been sponsors for ages.
Well, this is your guy. How much hair of the dog do I need?
That's right. There's a guy asked me on the street. Yeah. How much hair of the dog do you think I have to
You
drink?
drop it in a beer.
Also, today our show is brought to us by UnlistedNola.com, the revolutionary new way to buy a house in New Orleans. If you know what you're looking for, you can find your perfect match before it comes on the market. It's the match.com of real estate. It's UnlistedNola.com. Go check it out.
I lost two houses in New Orleans.
You bought two
I
houses?
tried to buy two houses. I lost them both.
You lost them. Well, you mean someone else got them for
the
you?
guy- the-
That is why they have UnlistedNola.com for people who can't get a place because they're gone before you get there.
No, the guy didn't even own the house.
Like, I believe that's illegal. That's called fraud. You can't sell a house if you don't own it.
His realtor
I'm not
was
a
my
lawyer.
realtor, and then we went all the way to the day before closing before the realtor was
Wow.
like, yeah, he didn't own the house. And I said, why did you tell me that? And she's like, I'm not legally bound to disclose that information.
What?
What?
Questionable.
I don't have to tell you that.
What are you talking about?
She said she didn't have to tell me that she suspected that he didn't actually own the house.
Well, you don't have to tell someone what you suspect because that's your innermost thoughts, which in the United States
she
still
should've-
remain your own thoughts.
But if
Okay.
my broker was his broker, she should have known that the house had already been foreclosed on.
We are already in a conflict to do with the same broker, so.
Well, that's okay.
No, normally it's okay. It's like,
Yeah.
But you have to make sure you sign stuff that says it's okay for the same broker.
Do you?
You're not going to put the broker on blast right now?
Who was it? No, we better not.
We
But
better
aren't
not.
you supposed
I
to?
do want to.
Yeah, I
want
know
to,
you do.
But I'm better than that.
Isn't your broker
Yeah.
supposed to do due diligence and tell you, I think there's something wrong here?
Yes.
That she or he just
think
wanted
she
to
was
collect
hoping.
the 6%.
Yeah,
she was
it was like
hoping.
the worst situation. It cost like $3,000 because I had to get the flood elevation all.
Yeah.
I mean, we were the day before closing.
This
And
person, this realtor hooked you into all this
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
And then,
And then emailed me the next week and asked me to pay her a commission anyway
okay,
because of how much work
you
she
need
did.
to get in touch with the Real Estate Association of Louisiana or whatever it is.
Put her on blast.
Yeah. That doesn't sound right at all.
New show.
That's a different
You're on
show.
blast.
We don't have enough time in New Orleans.
Yeah, to go.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Werkly, Werkly, because that's kind of what it's all about. Werkly is what Eric actually does for a living,
Yeah.
among all these other things.
I have an internet startup, and it is about getting people jobs. Yeah, we started in. We've been working on it for about a year and a half, and we went through the whole propeller incubator last year, and then Launchfest, and gotten a ton of different awards. But at the same time, creating a marketplace online takes
Yeah.
a really long time.
So this is how it's described in the PR stuff I was given. It's been described as the Airbnb of skilled and unskilled labor. It uses it's an app or a website that uses advanced filtering and networking parameters so you can find friends in your network who have the skills and availability to accomplish your task. Is that a
Awesome.
fair description?
Yeah, it works. I mean, like the short of it is that basically it's a marketplace where you go and you look for skills rather than the old way where you would maybe put a listing and say, hey, I need somebody to come and paint my house, and then wait for 10 people to apply and then figure out who's good. This is just a simple way using the modern technology we have to immediately find somebody. And the great part is that the future of it is that it will correlate with Facebook and LinkedIn and your communities and your church groups and all sorts of things that you can literally find people specifically in your neighborhood who have those skills, who can come to your house today and get something done. And like, it's funny, when I first started writing this PR material and we called ourselves the Airbnb of jobs, it's because it's a marketplace. But I actually see the future of Werkly being the Uber of skills.
Aha.
Basically a dispatch where you could have anybody in your house in 30 minutes to do anything you needed.
In New Orleans.
In any place.
Anything?
Okay.
Anything.
Anyone listening to this in New Orleans is having a sort of a disbelief moment. Have you ever tried calling a plumber in New Orleans, or
Well, so just
someone to even fix anything?
even just to prove this, actually, like we just launched our official launch day was only December 9th, and we have 3,000 people signed up, which is pretty good, I think.
Yep.
I'd say it's pretty
I've heard
good.
of it.
And for our launch event at 11:30 p.m., I booked our entire service crew for the next day.
Wow.
And everybody came, everybody showed up, and everybody was spectacular. And I literally booked 2 bartenders and 2 servers at 11:30 p.m. before a 1 p.m. event the next day.
That is so
That's
hard to
perfect
believe.
for New Orleans, though. Last minute.
It is last minute.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
true.
that's why I picked this city for. I mean, it's all about tourism and service, and it's the real estate kind of boom here as well. And a lot of people don't want to necessarily hire contractors. And one of the things that bothers me the most is this idea: you go in the Better Business Bureau and you get a phone number for a guy who lives in Metairie, who you're going to pay him $50 an hour, and then he's going to pay your neighbor $10 an hour to come to your house and paint your house.
Yeah, that's true. That does happen.
Do you know what I mean? And instead, it's like
Better Business Bureau.
those BBs.
No.
So, but what is the difference between what you're doing and say any other place?
Well, I mean,
How does it actually work?
currently, I don't believe that there's any other marketplace specifically for labor where you can just find the skills you need. Like, you could literally go on your phone right now and type in almost any skill, and somebody in New Orleans will have it and be willing to work for you today, tomorrow, or the next day.
A lot of puppetry.
There's definitely puppetry on there.
Suppose I need something done, like, I wake up in the morning and my roof's leaking.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, the fucking roof's leaking again.
100%.
So what do I do?
You would go onto Werkly and look for master carpenter or roofer.
Okay, roofer in this case, suppose. Okay,
Yeah.
and Werkly is spelled Werkly.
Ly.
So I type that in, and I get that. There's an app, or it's a
So yeah,
website.
it's a web app. So it works mobily like it's an app, but you still have to be online.
Okay.
So you would go to Werkly, you'd have to create a profile in order to search.
So I have to log in and write down my
Yeah,
name and
you go
email address
register,
or whatever
which
it is.
takes about
Okay.
2 minutes exactly. It's
Okay.
just a name and a picture.
Right.
You
A picture?
Yeah, we
You want my picture?
Yeah, we require that you have a profile photo to make sure that you're like a legitimate human and not just a robot. Although robots probably take really nice photos.
What if your photo was a robot?
That's okay too.
Would you take it down?
No, in fact, I wouldn't. You can,
Look at this cute cat. Can I use that picture?
that's great.
That is a cute cat. It's only got one eye.
It's only got one eye though.
But how do you vet if they're any good, the people who are doing work for you?
So that's the difficult part. We have a way, the other challenge here is that I'm a one-person company, and I've bootstrapped this entire company by myself. I built this entire product by myself.
Do you need help? Because I've got a website you could check out.
Yeah. No, what I need is, what we're looking at, we're at that point now where I've kind of proven that traction that everywhere we've gone in a market to try to get users, we've blown it up.
Okay, well, let's go back to Natalie's question, though. As a journalist, that was a good question.
So
how do you know they're any good?
So it's community managed. So the same way that how do you know that an Airbnb host isn't going to murder you? It's the same idea. So you have to give people a chance. They have to work and then get that credibility, and you get ratings and reviews. And actually, that's one of the things I really like about Werkly, and we built it this way specifically, that you can't write anything. So you can't just be a good writer. You can't just be cool. You can't just be have 100 pretty pictures.
So you
and
mean
get
for
jobs.
self-promotion, you can't do
There's
that?
no
Okay.
self-promotion. You get one photo, and you can only click on everything else. And otherwise, all the information and all the reviews about you have to be written by somebody else.
And so you're going to be able then to go back and you can say, we don't want you with us anymore. You did a bad job at,
Yeah, exactly. You can even contest
Well, it's
it.
like
and-
ratings of the people and then ratings of who's rating them.
That's
Both,
the Uber.
actually,
That's
yes.
the Uber one.
That's what it is.
And so you rate the manager. Like, you could be like, okay, this client was a disaster. I went to this person's house
Yeah.
to paint this room, and they didn't even have the paint.
Right.
They expected me to bring my own ladder, or all this stuff that was
Yeah.
not communicated, and then they never paid me. And so then that person would be blackballed. And then we
Jesus,
also,
this is wide open for abuse here, isn't it?
not really.
It's the internet.
The whole internet is wide open for
Yeah.
abuse at this point, and it's like you kind of get used to it. And the truth is,
It's
like,
better at a smaller scale, though,
Yeah.
because it'll be, I feel like less wide, rampant, people just making profiles and giving them good reviews than it would be if it
Yeah.
was
Right. And-
eBay or something.
Right.
And people are good at policing the internet these days.
Yeah.
So if somebody were to write something horrific that I never saw, I'm sure one of our users would be like,
Yep.
"Excuse me, I saw this thing." And at any moment they can hit a button and it'll screenshot
Flag.
and send me what they're looking at. That's the technology we have now. But yeah, I mean, the other thing we're looking into is using a software called Checker that will do background verification on people. But again, all this takes money, and I'm personally,
background verification costs every time you background verify someone. It costs you something, right?
And that expense will be passed on to the user, and it'll be their choice. I mean, like so.
So you have to join or something.
Essentially,
but is that a legal thing, or I mean, how do you fact check their work?
No, this would just be legal.
Oh, so you're not
basically
child molester.
So you know if they didn't own the house, for example.
Well, yeah, and I mean this is the thing.
Blue
it's like,
dots.
And, I mean, there's so many ways you can, and think about any other service in the world. I mean, you could open the Yellow Pages and get a person who just created a Yellow Page ad out of nowhere. They don't necessarily have to be a legitimate carpenter or contractor.
But like, who's going to open the Yellow Pages nowadays? Come on, man. That's a very...
They still deliver them.
I still remember them. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, unless you're getting a personal reference, and actually that's the whole idea of this idea of the link in with Facebook and LinkedIn and all this kind of stuff, that if you were going to look for a stylist, you're going to have a wedding and you need to get your hair done, and you're like, I wonder who can do my hair, and you type in stylist, hairdresser, and then you see 10 people that are available to do it on that day, and you see that they're friends with your friends. And you can immediately, which you're probably already logged into Facebook somewhere, go to your mutual friend and say, hey, your two friends, Nancy and Maria, are both available to do my hair on my wedding.
Okay.
Which one is good? So it doesn't change the way that we already do things. We already go to Facebook. We
Well,
already
have you
go
talked
to
to
our friends.
Facebook about this?
I actually have, yeah.
And what'd they say?
I met with the operations manager at their headquarters in Mountain View, and they were kind of astonished by the idea. They thought it was great, and I was like, but like,
Well,
I
that's
didn't
the
want to
thing.
tell them too much about
what's
it.
the what's the non-compete or
we
whatever?
have one.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
can
we're
talk
just
about
working
Facebook
on that.
headquarters?
The
Yeah,
thing is,
right upstairs. Look.
actually, and even to do away for Werkly and did some like other stuff. This idea that like, but Facebook can't even compete with me against this now because people don't trust Facebook. You know, like nobody would give Facebook any additional information anymore.
Well, Facebook is sort of has. When you say trust, I mean you don't trust that they're not going to do something with your personal information.
I think that like
It's not-
all the information. Like, we're willing to share photos and we're willing to share our experience. But now, if Facebook were to ask you what your shoe size was, you would probably not put it in.
Right.
If Facebook were to ask you what's your job, I wouldn't enter it.
So
If
how
Facebook were to ask
so
you what
how
your
is this going to
skills-
tie into Werkly then?
But I'm saying this is why Facebook, at this level, they're so big that they can't compete with me at my level.
But I thought your thing was going to sort of rely on Facebook and our profiles.
I mean, have you ever used Tinder?
I'm not going to prepare to say whether I've used Tinder. If you won't tell me what drugs you're on at Mardi Gras, I'm not.
So
No
the way,
comment.
But so the way Tinder works is
Yeah.
that you see your mutual connections.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily involve Facebook. It just uses the Facebook login and their
Right.
API to draw to that.
Right.
That's how Werkly works.
And Facebook doesn't try. Does Facebook have a relationship with Tinder?
No.
Well,
It's
but
an
they
it's
could
an
shut
open-
them down, right?
No, it's an open API.
You couldn't stop that.
I mean, Facebook could stop that, but they'd have
They
to stop
could.
it for everybody.
Yeah, but they could stop Tinder. They could say, stop doing this
But they
or
don't
pay
want-
us $1 million a
They don't
day.
want to because this is their new business model.
Okay, what
Getting
is?
people laid.
Getting people.
It's a-
How can you
It
go
works.
wrong with that?
It works.
Look at this 50 Shades of Grey thing.
Hey. Oh.
Who would have thought
Happy
that some
people
sort of
happy
soft...
people post more probably.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. I bet you the statistics are depressed people post way more than
Probably.
happy people.
Well, they take a lot of sex stuff off of Facebook. We have stuff taken off our website that we posted twice. We've posted naked people on Facebook. And then
Why?
Not even naked.
Like
Was it
yourself?
you?
Yeah.
Well,
it you,
one
Grant?
was a photo of me sitting here with no clothes on as a publicity stunt. No, they were both album covers. One was Hugh Hefner's
Yep.
that
Yeah.
album cover, whatever that was called, Religion, Peace, or Religion, Sex, Religion. And it's a really great
It's art.
album cover. It's a piece of
It's
art.
friggin'
It's a
art.
painting.
I'm realizing,
It's a
Those
it's
uptight
brilliant.
Christians at Facebook.
And the other was the singer Boyfriend, whose album
Yeah.
cover is her with her hands over
Yeah.
her breasts, and that's not even
naked.
You can't see anything, and they shut our page down twice for both of those bullshit reasons.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, really.
Fight
for
the power.
you.
But they not only did they shut our page down, they shut our page down, and they shut down everyone else's page who's an administrator. So, like, we have all these
Really?
people working with us, like Chris over here and Graham over there, and all the other people who are involved with this, operation. By the
Really?
way, yes, they took everyone off Facebook.
What did you do to them, Grant?
I
don't believe that's
but
the right
that's
reason.
what I think is. I thought that there was some sort of bot that Facebook has that scans everybody's page.
No, it's somebody's
Somebody-
actually.
Apparently, someone complained.
You guys have an enemy.
Yeah,
An
someone.
enemy is picking you.
Somebody
Ooh,
complained.
Podcast enemies. Uh-oh,
Talking
podcast
of which,
beef.
talking of
Snap, snap.
talking of which, thank you to Gambit for the awesome cover
Yeah,
story.
Gambit, I
this
see you
week.
right there.
Yeah, they did a cover story about us. If you want to know what we're up to here,
If you
go
want to see this
go to
pretty guy, look,
Gambit.
check out a
Oh,
Gambit.
wait, somebody's
I
actually
know.
going to hear this?
What's that? Someone? No, actually, no one does listen to this. That's the funny
Okay,
part.
that's the best
We
part.
just
Good,
put
I
it in,
like
the,
that.
in Chris's top drawer at home, and then we get on with the next one.
Blackmail.
Yeah, no, that was a really nice piece of again, but if you listen to this and you want to know what we look like, or you can go to our website, it's neworleans.com, but the story about what we're up to. Natalie, what are you writing these days?
What am I writing these days? I've been doing a lot of food writing in Philadelphia. The last thing I had published, I had a column in Philadelphia about a murder victim whose murder didn't get enough attention. And I wrote a column down here for the Picayune about using my mother's jewelry to decorate Muse's shoes that I threw during the parade.
Whoa.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I played at the pre-party and the ball.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I was
We got
in
there a little
Muses.
late, but that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
I was a lady in Muses,
You were a lady in Muses. Eric.
wearing a Perkin, wearing a dragon Merkin. Perkin.
You were in Muses?
Yeah, I was walking in Muses.
Oh, it's part of the...
The bearded oysters, yeah.
Oh, you're in the Bearded Oysters. That's an interesting thing about New Orleans. All these women's walking crews that have vagina-type names.
Yeah. I got an email
Are there
from
any
someone.
left?
Yeah. Oh, there's camel toe steppers, muffaladas, sorry. Can't remember that.
Pussyfooters.
Pussyfooters. Bearded oysters.
Bearded Oysters. So you're in the Bearded Oysters.
Yes.
I thought that was women only.
I'm one of them. I'm a lady.
He's very delicate.
Okay.
It's a,
I've got some news for you all,
I've
by
got
the
a
way.
great beard.
You do have a beard, but that's not the wrong...
I'll wear skinny, I'll wear things.
Just tilt your head.
Drag.
That'd be okay.
You saw the picture. I look great.
I did see a picture of you wearing like nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, mostly.
I wouldn't say you look like a woman, but I didn't realize. I thought that all these vagina reference walking crews were all women only.
No, actually, I'm a wrangler. My job is to keep the drunk girls from falling out of the parade.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But I still dress up like a girl to do it, so that I don't offend anybody.
Only in New
Because that'll
Orleans.
definitely fool them.
Only in New Orleans could you say that you dress up like a girl so you don't offend anybody. Guys, I got some news for you right now. It's the end of happy hour. We've got to the end of the show. It's an hour since we started, so
All right.
that means we
Wow,
have to get out
time
of here.
flies.
We've got to make way for paying customers. We only got to hear one song, Jermaine.
It's okay.
Well, can you come back another day?
Yeah,
and
let's do it.
again? Okay,
I
so
always got so much stuff going on. Let's do it.
okay, so where could we hear something right now, if we wanted to? If you listen to the show and you want to hear more Jermaine Quiz, go to
JermaineQuiz.com or Jealous Monk Music.
But where do we see Jermaine Quiz? That's what I'm saying before.
right
You
here.
can,
man.
because you don't want to listen to it.
Funny, man.
I
I haven't even
foundation
left him
Not
and he
hip
wants to
enough.
see me again.
Other than the foundation room, which is a beautiful space, but I don't like going in there.
Wow, this it's tough customer.
It's kind of expensive.
Typical-
It's like I'm a Bywater guy.
Okay, what does it cost to go into the foundation room? I thought you had to be a
To be
member.
but then
Yeah.
once you get
Well,
in
how
there,
can you
it's
get
like-
in?
You know me, man. Come on.
Once you get in there, it's still like
Can you get on the list if we
You're
know you?
welcome. Yeah, let's go.
okay. That's
But
cool.
otherwise, it's members only, so
Yeah.
you're only playing to people who can afford to. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a sort of a select audience there.
Well, I didn't mean it like that.
That's
but
good.
Either way, was Maple Leaf sometime?
Yeah, we play all over the place. You gotta just kind of check us out. We had a lot of gigs. We played over at Howlin' Wolf. We played over the Muses Ball. We played Tipitina's. We played a bunch of places. Mardi Gras. We're tooling it up. We got a new album coming out, and just got a web series coming out and stuff too. So we're just kind
Okay,
of
stop
holding it
right
back.
there. You have a web series. What's that all about?
You've heard of the
Scripted or
French
not
Quarter, right?
The French Quarter, yes, I've heard.
Have you heard of the British Quarter?
The Bridge.
The British Quarter.
British Quarter, no.
Dirty French bastards trying to keep the good people of the British Quarter down.
That's what you're doing?
Yeah, that's
What's it called? The British
It's
Quarter?
British Quarter Hustler. It's about like a street performer in the British Quarter who's trying to, keep his. It's more like a 16th. It's only one block, but he's trying to keep his. He's trying to keep his whole block from the French invasion.
Are you the star of this thing?
I'm the director and one of the stars we have. It's all musicians who are in it. Ivan Neville makes a surprise appearance. We have Derek Freeman from Kermit Ruffin's band, Drew Mees from Gravity A.
Any British people?
No.
So it's kind of like Spinal Tap.
Yeah,
None
yeah,
of
it's
them were
it's
actually
good.
harmed in the making of the show.
Of course.
I have a British roommate if you need her.
Really?
Yeah.
British Quarterette. We actually have like a British Quarter dance troupe that comes out and helps me get me hustle on.
Oh my
How
God.
do
Okay.
British dancers dance? How are they different?
We dance very upright.
Very proper.
Oh,
We
like
dance
an
very
Irish
upright.
dance?
It's like it's a jig. It's
Like
a
the-
jig.
Okay, and is this on the web right now?
No, we're
Coming up.
it's releasing in April.
In April, if you listen to this, it's
British-
April 2015, so there's a fair
2015.
chance that it's already out by now.
BritishQuarterHustler.com.
BritishQuarterHustler.com. Oh my God. I'm surprised that website wasn't gone.
I own NewOrleansFunk.com too.
No
crazy.
way.
Yes.
Are you
Crazy.
serious?
I do.
Holy, what do you have on NewOrleansFunk.com? Do you have anything
It goes
up
to
there?
Jealous Monk stuff. It's just, I haven't, if anyone's out there listening and wants to do something good with NewOrleansFunk.com, obviously not my man right next to me.
No, Eric's
No,
not
I'm
going
an
to touch
organizer.
that.
I'm a businessman. I'm a hustler.
He can hustle
We'll
it
get
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
When
call
did
me
you
up.
When did you buy NewOrleansFunk.com?
Probably about 5 years ago.
I do know somebody who I'll introduce you to who
And
will do something.
Good. I've just been sitting on it, waiting for a good cause.
No, he works for
and-
Galactic and all these cats.
Yeah.
And like,
It's not a
he
real
lives down the
estate
street.
agent.
No, he's an old sound engineer and lighting engineer and throws huge parties and produces giant events and stuff like that. And he's very tapped into funk scene.
Cool.
So
You could probably sell NewOrleansFunk.com to somebody for a lot of money.
Nah.
Yeah, but I'd rather go to like someone who's really gonna do something for the scene in
yeah,
New
not
Orleans.
just be like a bunch of ads and banners.
Yeah.
Go to a good home. Well, that's interesting. Natalie, what website URL are you sitting on that you'd like to advertise?
Oh, NataliePompilio.com.
Natalie Pompilio, you're
I
not
have-
going to sell that one, though,
Oh
right?
yeah, I haven't updated that in like a year, so maybe don't check that.
Okay. All right. Eric, and we have to check out Werkly, WERKLY.com. Thank you so much, everybody. That was Eric Bernstein, Natalie Pompilio, and Jermaine Quiz. And that also was Happy Hour for today. Thank you so much for joining us. The
Thank you
producer
very
of our
much.
show is Graham DePonte. Our associate producer and technical director is Chris Kehoe. Christian Unruh is our music director. Our theme song was written and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. The fabulous audio quality of this show is brought to you in part by PreSonus Audio Electronics. If you'd like to be on our show and you can sit around a table for about an hour and drink 2 or 3 cocktails without falling off a chair, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, where you can also check out many more happy hours to listen to, as well as some other shows where we make here at itsneworleans.com. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti live from Commander's Palace. Mindset with psychiatrist Dr. Nick Pajic. True to the Game with Chris True. Midnight Menu +1 with Margot Moss and the Man Who Ate New Orleans. Ray Canada, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tooker. And the revolutionary new way to buy a house in New Orleans, Unlisted NOLA. Keep up with us on Facebook, on Twitter, and a bunch of other time-sucking social media. On all of it, we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and also on our Facebook and Google Plus pages. These photos are taken by the fabulous and talented Douglas Engel. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher or some other podcast app that you prefer better, thank you for subscribing to us. Please take 1 minute to do this. It doesn't even take a minute. Just rate and review us. We only have like about, 1 review on the whole internet. So if you could help
I'll review.
Could you write us a review, Jermaine?
I'm doing it right now.
Tell us how awesome it is. Okay, give us
Dope
5
as
stars.
hell.
It's fabulous. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfare on Ferret Street, where they put fine dining into a sandwich and fine booze into a glass. Come and check them out if you haven't already been here. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Andrew Duhon is on tour around the country. You can find him at andrewduhon.com. He's probably in a town near you, and I think he'll be back here in the next week or 2.
I went to school with him.
You did?
At Loyola.
At Jesuit? At
Loyola,
Loyola.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that would be a nice reunion for next time. Thanks so much for all of you around here, around the table at Wayfare. To Graham DePonte and Douglas Engel's got one more picture left in him. For Andrew Duhon and me and Chris Kehoe, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. We'll see you back here next week on Happy Hour.
Your home is important. That's why Geico helps make it easy to save on condo insurance. Because home is more than just a place. Home is where you took minimalism too far because there's only one chair in your entire condo and your only entertainment is one card. Not even a deck of cards, but a single card. And all your guests have to share one plate and one fork, but you're convinced that less stuff means more freedom. The Geico Insurance Agency could help protect the overly minimalist broom closet you call home. Call Geico and see how easy it is to switch and save on condo insurance.